Welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett, and I'm discussing one of the newest releases from Cryptozoic, the DC Comics deck building game Teen Titans release. For those who don't know, deck building games, unlike like Magic or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, where you build a deck and you go battle it out. Instead, this is a game where you use points and you build your deck as you go. Hence the name, deck building. So DC Comics deck building game is obviously based off of the characters from DC Comics, and the Teen Titans expansion is focused on the popular superhero group. This is a fully standalone expansion. That means you don't need any of the other releases to play it. Though, if you want to, you can always mix it up and add cards to your the other releases. What's kind of cool about the game is that it works well with all the other systems. So you play as the world-famous Teen Titans. There's 200 plus new game cards, including equipment, superpowers, heroes, villains, and playable oversized superhero cards. Ongoing cards make their presence felt in a big way. Fully compatible with all Service Engine Heroes deck building game. You've played with the old guard, now it's time for the next generation of superheroes to step up. Play as Raven, Beast Boy, Wonder Girl, Red Robin, and more. The Teen Titans are all about proving themselves, and with the ruthless enemies they must face, they'll need to. Now you can save your best cards for when you really need them, and when ready, unleash everything you've got. The results will be spectacular. While standalone game, Teen Titans can also be mixed with all previous DC Dex Buildings games. This is the fourth release that is a standalone release like that. So if you hurry and get out there, there's a promo card inside that is Kid Flash. So Kid Flash is whenever you buy or gain a card, you may add the top card of the main deck to the lineup. That's pretty cool. We've got a rule book in here. The rule book is pretty short. There's a lot of big words, or big type, I mean. So the type's not all that crazy. Nice handy sheet to tell you what to do. One thing I really like about the game, and of course take out all the cards, is that it gives you this nice box to put all the cards away in when you're done. So you don't have to come up with your own inserts. The game comes with it. And for those who are really into board games, that small thing alone is pretty awesome, because a lot of games don't do that, unfortunately. Let's go with... We'll go with these cards. We're going to go with the basic cards like Kick and stuff like that and see what we've got. Kick is looking like it's a powered up Red Robin. Pretty basic card in the game. You get a whole bunch of them. Let's put that one away. Next up, we've got Punches. Another basic card you start off with. This one's got Wonder Girl on it. There's enough for all the players in here. Next we have Vulnerabilities. I kind of remember if this guy works for the place that originally had the Teen Titans. I don't remember his name though. But it's art from the comic series. I'm going to put stuff away as we pull it out. We've got Weakness. And I'm going to go with... Yeah, I don't remember which that is. I stopped reading Teen Titans after a while and they came back recently. That's all the cards, or all the main cards, that you'll be using a hell of a lot in this set. That's where the punches go. I always forget what goes where. fit. Really, those are kind of the basic cards. There's nothing super special about them. You just need them to play the game. This is the set of cards everyone really cares about. So let's open this up and show off what you get. So these are going to be the cards, for the most part, that you're going to be buying and adding to build your deck. I'm going to get rid of the supervillains to show off. First, let's start with the equipments. We've got Birdarang, which has Damien on it. If you control a hero, +2 power. Colony Suit. Some cool art. +1 power, you may discard an ongoing card you control. If you do, additional +2 power. There's 3 of those. We've got Magic Bracers. Equipment is +1 power defense. You may discard this card from your hand to avoid an attack. If you do, put an ongoing card from your discard pile into your hand. Cybernetic Enhancement. It's a pretty badass image. +1 power for each ongoing card you control. Detonator. Ongoing, you may discard this card from play. If you do, destroy a card in your discard pile. Flightwing. Equipment, +2 power. You may put cards you buy or gain this turn on top of your deck. Cloak of Raven, +2 power and additional +1 power for each different superpower you control. That's a pretty common card. Equipment, +1 power. You may put an ongoing card from your discard pile into your hand. Silent Armor. Equipment, draw a card. You may discard an ongoing card you control. If you do, gain the top card of the main deck and put it into your hand. T-Wing. Equipment, +2 power at the end of the game. This card is worth 1 VP for each different card with cost 2 or less in your deck. And then Reach Scarab. Pretty powerful one. Big point cost. +3 power defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw 2 cards. You may put an ongoing card from your discard pile into play. Interesting so far. Alright, let's go with the heroes next. This set is packed with heroes. Arsenal, you pay 2 less to defeat supervillains this turn. Bumblebee, ongoing, you may discard this card from play. If you do, +1 power. Ravager, hero, +1 power. If you control 1 or more ongoing cards, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Solstice, +1 power. If you control a superpower, draw a card. Aqualad, ongoing. If you discard this card from play, if you put a card with cost 5 or less from your discard pile on top of your deck. Jericho, +1 power and choose a foe. Attack, gain the game text of that foe's superhero this turn. Miss Martian, +1 power. If this is the first card you play this turn, set your hand aside and draw 5 cards at the end of your turn. Put the set side cards on top of your deck. That's a pretty awesome one. Jamie Reyes, +2 power defense. You may put this card from your hand into play to avoid an attack. If you do, play it during your next turn. Bunker, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 card for each type into your hand and discard the rest. Hawk and Dove, +2 power. If there are 2 copies of the same card in play, additional +1 power. Static, pretty awesome. We got Static in here. You may discard an ongoing card you control. If you do, additional +1 power and destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Cassie Sandsmark, +2 power and an additional +1 power for each different equipment you control. Garfield Logan, ongoing. Once during each of your turns, choose a card type. The next card type you play or discard this turn also has that card type. Corindar, put a superhero or superpower from the lineup into your hand. If you cannot, draw a card. Counter Kent, put 2 superpowers from your discard pile into your hand. Dick Grayson, +2 power. At the end of this game, this card is worth 1 VP for each different ongoing card in your deck. Tim Drake, put a hero from your discard pile into your hand. Gain equipment from the lineup. Daughter of Trigon, you pay 1 less to defeat villains and supervillains this turn for each different card type you control. And Vic Stone, draw a card for each different ongoing card you control. What's interesting that I've noticed, obviously other than the ongoing, which is a new aspect for the game, is that the characters that they have in here aren't just characters that are appearing in the current Teen Titans series, but are actually classic Teen Titans as well. So that's pretty cool to see. So it's not just the current Teen Titans; it is the new Teen Titans the old school Teen Titans as well. So here's a good thing to know. So ongoing, we've been bringing this up. We're going to describe the rule. Many cards in the set have the keyword ongoing. When you buy or gain a card with ongoing, it goes to your discard pile just like any other card. However, when you later draw and play an ongoing card, it will remain in play in front of you for the rest of the game or until you use or lose it from in play, which is often. An ongoing card in front of you that you control counts as in play just like any other card you played during your turn. They count as played only on the turn in which you entered play. Cards in the lineup or that a foe controls are never in play for you to take advantage of, though some cards will allow you to affect foe's cards in play. Ongoing cards give you special abilities after a turn while they remain in play. They are in a way maintain a consistent level of power. They can also sometimes be spent, usually by discarding them from play to boost your power level a great deal for one turn. When an ongoing card says to discard it for an effect, that means removing it from play and placing it into your discard pile. An ongoing card is any card with a bold keyword ongoing in its text box. You can have any number of different ongoing cards in play at once. Back to the cards, we've got a whole bunch of locations. Locations are becoming bigger with each set. We have Titan's Memorial, ongoing. The first time you destroy a card during each of your turns, draw a card. Azeroth location, once during your turns, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, attack. Each foe discards a card. That's ongoing. Another ongoing, New Titan's Tower. The first time you play an ongoing card, including this one, during each of your turns, draw a card. The Colony. When you destroy a card, you may place it under this card. You may discard your cards under the Colony as though they were ongoing cards you control. Cadmus Labs. Once during each of your turns, choose a hero or villain with cost 3 or less you control. Put it into your hand. And Tamarin. Once during each of your turns, you may discard the top card of your deck. If you do, plus power equal to that card's VP value. Stars equal 3. Next, we've got Superpower. Superpowers are a fun flavor of the game. Usually pretty cool. I enjoy Superpowers. We've got Acrobatic Agility. What art is that? That's interesting. It looks like Robin on top of maybe a Batmobile. +1 power defense. You may discard this card from your hand to avoid attack. We have Shapeshift. +1 power. This card has all card names and also a hero, villain, and equipment while you own it. That's a fascinating one. Molecular Vibration. You may discard this card from play. If you do, draw a card. Energy Absorption. Draw a card and then you may destroy a card in your hand. That'd be great early on. Geokinesis. +2 power and choose a foe. Attack, put an ongoing card that foe controls into their discard pile. Azeroth, Metreon, Zinthos. You may discard this card from play. If you do, put a card with cost 4 or less from your discard pile into your hand. Demonic Influence, +2 power and additional +1 power for each different villain you control. Tactile Telekinesis. The first time you play a superpower during each of your turns, reveal the top card of your deck. You may destroy it. That's an ongoing ability. Speed Force, +2 power and +2 cards. Teen Titans Go. It's pretty awesome. Classic art, or really kind of redone modern art with the classic style of them busting out. Put all ongoing cards from your discard pile into your hand. That's pretty awesome card right there. I don't know, it's ongoing. It's sounding like it could be a really fun mechanic to add to the game. Alright, so now we've got a whole bunch of villains. There's a lot of them. We've got Hive Agent. If you control another villain, +2 power. Gizmo, +1 power if you control equipment, draw a card. Zookeeper, ongoing defense. You may discard this card from play to avoid an attack. Lady Vic, ongoing. You may discard this card from play. If you do, +2 power. Mad Mod, +2 power. You may discard an ongoing card you control. If you do, choose a foe and attack. This foe gains a weakness. Plasmus, +2 power. You may discard an ongoing card you control. If you do, draw a card. Teen Titans really had horrible villains. Cinderblock, draw a card. You may put a defense card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Phobia, +2 power. Attack. Each foe discards a card from their hand into the discard pile of any other player other than the attacker and anyone who avoided this. Shimmer, +2 power. Attack. Each foe destroys a starter in their hand or discard pile. Each one who does gains a weakness. Grant Wilson, +2 power and additional +1 power for each different hero you control. Mammoth, +2 power defense. You may discard this card from your hand to avoid an attack. If you do, draw 2 cards. You may destroy a starter in your hand. Destroying starters is awesome. Inertia. Ongoing. Once during each of your turns, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. Jinx. +1 power and draw a card. Attack. Each foe discards an ongoing card they control. Match. Gain +2 power and choose a foe. Attack. Gain control of each ongoing card that foe controls. At the end of turn, return each one still in play to that foe. If any leave play, they go back to the foe's discard pile. And Sons of Trigon. +3 power. Attack. Each foe discards a card from their hand. If a foe avoids this attack, they gain a weakness. That's pretty cool. That actually is really cool villain to add to the game. And now the supervillains. Now, for those who don't want to find out about the supervillains and avoid this, mute, and then I'm going to give a thumbs up when it's okay to turn on your sound again, all right? Warning, this is going to be spoilery. All right, we've got Slade Wilson. He's a villain, ongoing at the start of each of your turns. You may draw until you have 5 cards in hand. This card starts the game on top of the supervillain stack. We have Clock King. You may gain all equipment from the lineup and put 1 into your hand if you choose not to. 2+2 powers. First appearance attack. Each player puts an equipment they control in their hand into the lineup. We have Harvest. If you gain all the heroes from the lineup, or you may gain all heroes from the lineup and put 1 in your hand if you choose not to, +2 power. First appearance attack. Each player puts a hero they control in their hand into the lineup. Cheshire. You may gain a 1, 2, and 3 cost card from the lineup and put them in your hand if you choose not to, +3 power. First appearance attack is each player puts a card with cost 1, 2, or 3 they control or in their hand into the lineup. If you cannot, gain a weakness. Simon. They really did have horrible villains. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, draw and play 2 of them, then put the rest back in any order. First appearance attack, each player chooses 2 cards in their hand, pass each other card to the hand of player on the left. Terra. Ongoing is once during each of your turns, you may destroy a card you played this turn. Each player destroys a card they control. If you destroy no cards this way, gain a weakness. That's the first attack. Next, we've got the Brain and the Monsieur Mala. Trying to cover up the text to not ruin this for folks. You can draw 2 cards. The Defense. You may reveal this card from your hand to avoid an attack. First appearance attack, each player flips their superhero face down until this villain is defeated. Blackfire. That's pretty cool art. You may gain all superpowers from the lineup and put 1 in your hand. If you choose not to, +3 power. First appearance attack. Each player puts a superpower they control in their hand into the lineup. We've got Brother Blood. You may gain all villains in the lineup and put 1 into your hand if you choose not to, +3 power. First appearance attack. Each player puts a villain they control, have in their hand, or in their discard pile into the lineup. Then we've got Dr. Light. +1 power for each different color among cards in play. First appearance attack, each player gains a weakness. If 1 or more players avoids the attack, reveal a new supervillain, and then shuffle this card into the supervillain stack. That's actually pretty cool. Superboy Prime. He was on the box. I was wondering when he'd show up. +2 power, you may swap your current superhero for 1 outside the game. That's pretty awesome. First appearance attack, each player reveals the top 3 cards of their deck. Pass 1 to the discard pile of the player on your left, destroy 1, and discard 1. And then we've got Trigon. Makes sense. Stack ongoing. At the start of each player's turn, that player gains a weakness and then puts a 0-cost card from their discard pile on top of their deck. That's pretty brutal. So that's all the supervillains you'll be facing to win the game. And then finally, to do so, we've got a whole bunch of heroes for you to play. Let me see if I can actually open this up without ruining the cards or stabbing myself. We've got Classic Raven. Not the kind of the new look Raven, but the classic look. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more villains, put a superpower from your discard pile into your hand. We've got Red Robin. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more heroes, +1 power and equipment from your discard pile into your hand. Beast Boy. Once during each of your turns, you may discard a card. If you do, put a non-starter with that type, that card type, and cost 6 or less from your discard pile into your hand. Superboy. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more different superpowers, +1 power and draw a card. Blue Beetle. Once during each of your turns, if you control 7 or more cards, draw a card. Starfire. Once during each of your turns, if you control 4 different card types, you may destroy a card you control. And finally, Wonder Girl. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more equipment, draw 2 cards, and then discard a card. Overall, it sounds like a pretty cool set. I'm liking this idea of the ongoings. It's definitely something that can be very useful for the game. I think it'll go over really, really well. But of course, it really comes down to how it all plays. We're going to do that. We're going to get some gameplay in. Maybe we'll shoot a video of that. Haven't quite decided yet. But overall, sounds like it's a fun, interesting addition to the DC deck building game. Definitely some new mechanics. I do like that each set adds a little twist to what's come before, and it's not just new cards with new characters. You can get this now in stores. If you pick up quick, you can get the first edition promo that's inside, which is Kid Flash. Thanks for watching. This is Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. You can catch us every single day at graphicpolicy.com. Of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all at Graphic Policy. We keep it nice and consistent. Until next time, thanks for watching. Keep rolling those die, and keep it geeky.